Hello, this is Dr. Karen Midier, and welcome to this Facebook Live on the power of purpose. So today I am going to talk a little bit about why purpose and give you a little bit of background on the kind of work that I do with people when we explore purpose and how they approach it in the second half of their life. So one of the reasons for doing that is that people who have purpose are happier, they sleep better, they have better mental health, and they have a life direction, and their health overall is better. I mean, the research supports that. And it also gives them a way to have a guiding light or a compass to help them decide which kinds of things they're going to spend their time on, what they're going to do when they get up in the morning, and hopefully they can get excited about things, and that's what developing your purpose is really all about. And it's a journey. It is not, okay, today we're going to come up with a purpose, and therefore, I'm going to go and work on that. And, we put down three goals and then we're there. This is a process. And so today we're going to talk about the why and give you some things to begin to think about for the future. So, and life purpose changes as you age. And so some of the things to think about is, purpose is really nothing more or less than your intention to live in a certain way. It's realized through your own intention, and part of it is to explore your life, to explore your gifts and natural talents and your passions, and choose the best way of expressing those in your life by your activities and how you live your life. So part of it is you don't look at purpose out there. You look at purpose inside here. It's an internal thing. It's not something that you can give to somebody else to do. It is something that you need to do, to pay attention to your thoughts and your feelings as you even go through your day, so that you feel you identify the kinds of things where you have energy that makes you light up, and it also gives you things to think about. So we've already have a purpose sometimes, even though we haven't clarified it or know what it is. An example is, part of one of my things that I found out as my purpose was, when I ended up having to get a job, when I guess it was probably about 13 or 14 years ago, I had moved, and I was now living with my partner, and we decided that I needed to go back and get a job after I had been retired and ended up just working from home and doing some other things. I was not doing psychotherapy at the time. And so I decided to get a job, and I ended up working in a nursing home. So I did that for 2 years, and I had no idea that working with older adults was something that I ended up having a passion for. I actually ended up paying attention to how I felt when I did my work working in the nursing home and working with these seniors and helping them at the end of life, or dealing with their problems, their disabilities, and their family issues. And that for me was what opened my eye to maybe there's something out here that is still in the field of psychotherapy that I could do, that could get me re-excited and reinvigorated in my work and in psychotherapy. So that actually is how I ended up working with older adults. And then the reason why I end up working with purpose is because a lot of people who came into my practice were lost, and they realized that they got retired and they didn't know what to do with their life, and they were bored, and they didn't know how to spend their day. They got depressed and sometimes anxious. And so it was through this process that I ended up exploring and reading and coming up with some of the techniques that I use to help people find their personal goals and purposes. So we look at unlocking things that are true inside yourself. And we also look at making sure that it is not something you should do, but something that internally you want to do, that you naturally feel that you're good at and that you enjoy doing. It's something that we feel passionate and care deeply about. And we feel it fits our values and how we want to operate in the world. So all of those things are things that we explore as we look at purpose. So our purpose is one of our ways to express our life gifts and passions and values. And so it's a process. And we need to be able to believe that we have one in order to actually move forward. But part of this is, just even small little inklings that you have that might give you some ways to explore. And sometimes you try something on and say, well, I thought that was it, but not really. I mean, it's something maybe I could do that might have a little bit of meaning for me, but it's not something I really want to spend a whole lot of time on. So you can toss out things that you think that were your purpose and that you no longer decide that you want to do. So people are looking for things beyond themselves. And for some people, it may be a spiritual purpose. It could have a religious dimension. And so that is one of the ways that they might decide to spend their time if they want to be involved with their church or their temple. And not everyone needs a written purpose, but we all need to have something that makes us excited about getting up in the morning and that gives us a goal and a direction with how we spend our time. And if we're feeling stuck or we're going nowhere and we're drifting without direction and we wonder what the point of everything is, then this is a perfect opportunity to explore where to go for the future. So are you born with a purpose or do you choose one? I mean, this is a big question that people have is, some people believe that, everything is innate and, you come to life with something that is somehow your thing. And then other people believe that it is, that it's something that they need to pursue and develop and they choose. Whichever direction you come from, it doesn't matter. We can continue to work to explore those and figure out either what internally you were destined to do or what you choose to do moving forward. So unlocking your purpose can be an enjoyable process because it helps you define and clarify what you think and who you are and who you would like to be in this second half of your life. And I will tell you that for me, I ended up spending way more time and I am way happier in my life working and using the things that I've learned to be able to help other people also develop purpose and to hopefully prevent the problems that I have in my psychotherapy practice so that people will be more planful and have their eyes wide open as they explore their future as they get older. So there are exercises that you can do to help you with purpose. that's one of the things. But part of the things for you to think about is what matters most to you. You know, things like that are important, you know, and you can write some of those things down. And who relies on you? You know, who is important in your life? What inspires you? Whether or not it's people or books or doing certain activities. Are there things that you do that, you know, get you, you know, excited? I mean, it could be a political thing. It could be, some people love to read, and some people love to write, and some people love to volunteer. What causes do you care about? So all of those things are important for you to explore. What are the things that you're grateful for? What are the life experiences that you've had at this point in your life, or in, you know, as you kind of peruse your history? What kinds of things are important that you might want to re-explore, and what are you grateful for? Who explored with you and maybe helped you develop who you were? Sometimes we learn about ourselves in relation to others, whether or not it's our family, our partner, or our children. It could be somebody, a special teacher that you were inspired with when you were either in high school or in college, or maybe in graduate school. Or perhaps it was a boss who, as they were living their life and you explored how they lived it, it said, someday, you know, I'd like to be like that person. But the most important thing is you need to have a reason to get out of bed in the morning and not just watch TV. And then the other thing to think about, how do you want to be remembered? Is that something that's important to you, that you want to be special in somebody's life? Or maybe you want to make a mark in the world and teach people certain things. Maybe to be a mentor. Maybe you could be somebody who brings on I had one of my clients who said to me that she supported a family in Africa for 10 years. And that person showed them that some of the money that they gave to Africa, they used it to buy a goat. And they sent a picture of the goat and how she knew that she was making a difference in somebody's life by just, you know, small bits of money that they would send monthly to this family in Africa. So purpose gives meaning to your life. And so, you know, and then there's a whole, you know, other section to talk about meaning. What is meaning and how do you develop meaning? And we can talk about that another time. But it's more of, you're looking at an identity of who you are and what you hold dear to yourself, which means really looking inside to explore. And it could be writing, it could be attending a workshop and talking with other people and being able to do it that way. Looking at the areas and things that you really like to spend time on. It could be work, it could be volunteering, hobbies, connections. And as I said before, it could be spiritual, it could be health, exercise, family. All of those things are things that could be part of your own personal purpose. You know, I have a lot of people who say that they don't necessarily want to live a really, really long life, but the life that they want to live, they want it to be one where they are healthy. And so they do an awful lot of activities to make sure that they can be as much in charge of their personal health as they can. And so they may do meditation, they may do exercise, they may do Tai Chi, they may do family activities with grandchildren and taking them to here and there and everywhere, because those are things that give them joy, and those are things that make them feel good. and it maintains their physical health as well as their mental health. So who are you when you describe your best self? So part of, looking at you and your values, are you dependable? Are you energetic, funny, caring, loving, giving, organized? Who are you? And what's your role? Are you are you a mom, a dad, a grandma, a grand dogma, which is kind of who I am because I don't have any grandchildren. All of those things are roles that you have in life. And you may be a part-time worker. You may be a volunteer at the soup kitchen. All of those things are things that you do that give you things to do, but also can talk and speak to your values about who you are and what makes you tick. So I just actually went to a workshop yesterday where we looked at developing our life map, and I do it every year. I've done it, I think, for 4 years, and I kind of come up with a big goal of things that I want to accomplish for the year. And then I break it down into areas that are important to me. I look at my health, my family, I look at my career, I look at particular projects that I want to do, and then I come up with an action plan of things that I would like to accomplish in all those areas. And then I usually review them monthly, and then I also have some strategy to put those in place on a weekly basis. And then every year I review what did I do last year? Of all those goals that I had there, was I able to fulfill them? Which things did I do a good job? Which things would I like to do a better job the next year? This year got totally screwed up because I had to move, and so I had to put my life on hold for 6 months. So a lot of the things that were on my agenda for last year are going to go onto my agenda for this year. And so my life map is going to be pretty similar this year to the way it was last year. But it helps me give direction and figure out how I want to spend my time. And part of that is not all work. I want to make sure that because one of my values is family, and so spending time with my children and my family and taking time off so that I have time to recharge and to be with them at this point in my life is important. So you need to figure out your why and your purpose as you get older. And that is a bit challenging for people because it's like I've achieved all these goals, and I might have retired, or I might have reached some financial goals that I wanted to do. I might have, or maybe, some things like, I had to move, that wasn't part of my plan. Sometimes people have other things that get in the way. They may get sick, or a partner may get sick, and they need to become a caregiver, and they have to readjust what their goals are. But if it's important for you to still have the purpose in mind, because even if you have to take a little bit of a step to the left, you still have the guiding light to come to the right and work on things to help you implement the kinds of things that your purpose would help you continue to develop. So you can look at how you can achieve happiness over time as you get into your 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s. You don't just give up because you get older. You really have to rethink your life and come up with, and who am I now, and what is important to me moving forward. It's a time of reevaluation, and a time at looking at the past to figure out our lessons for the future. We're not done. We're just beginning again. So that's my talk for today. And if you want to learn more about me, you can certainly send me an email, a text message, or you can do an Instagram, an Insta feed. I'm really not that technically adept at all these things, but certainly a telephone call would work, and we can spend some time talking about how I might be able to help you. I'm going to be doing some courses. The courses are on schedule for next year. That's part of the thing that got kind of pushed aside. And I help people, plan for their non-financial part of retirement. And in my mental health practice, I work with people who get in trouble. And I'm really trying to avoid having people go in that direction. I really want them to be excited about getting older and realize the possibilities for your future are unlimited still. Just because we're older doesn't mean we can't still have fun, develop, grow. Personal growth as you age is a possibility. So that's it for today. And until next time, I will see you on Facebook or in my office, or definitely reach out. I would love to talk with you.